I heard a sound effect. We'll get started in just a second. Also, we've barely begun, and Pretzel's taken us on a journey. Alright. Okay, water's been heated. Things have been acquired. Hopefully y'all can hear me okay. I heard another sound effect. Hold on. Y'all are just throwing things at me. Another resub? Hello. Okay, I'm back at my desk now. Hello. First off, thanks, Leaf and Cypher, both of you, for that resub. Oh no, that wasn't actually an oh no, but that's a oh fun. Susie was your top emote for the year? Alright. Oh gosh, she was in the other room. Hold on, let me swap over to just chatting. She was in the other room and she heard me say her name and she is now here. Let me shift the camera just a little bit and y'all can see a Susie. Hello, hello, and there's a 0. Hi, welcome in everyone. Susie, I think, was also my top emote, just not gonna lie. So now she waits till now to need pets, despite all the time in which she could have gotten pets before this. So hi, welcome in everyone. Hi, slightly different setup today. I cleared out, when I say cleared out, I mean move over here. The sewing machine because we're not doing sewing things tonight. Taking a short break. But hi, welcome in. First off, thank you for the resubs. Shout out to Susie being your top emote of the year, Leave. I hope all of you recovering from PAX Unplugged and whatever you might have picked up from it are doing better. Seriously right now, dog? And Melissa, hello, welcome in. But yes, I was still struggling real hard on Thursday. Well, first off, I foolishly thought that I was going to get back Monday night in stream. And that was, well, let me phrase that. I was like, it could happen, forgetting how exhausting cons are. So that was a lie. And then I had hoped I'd be feeling up to it by Thursday, but I basically came back and went straight into a very busy work week. As you all know, there was an event Thursday night for video game stuff, and yeah, plenty of other things too, not just that. But essentially Thursday I was like, I'm not ready to be on, so guess what? No stream. But now we are, so I am finally back. I don't know if it was con crud or if people just ended up being a little rough from travel. I have managed to miss everything apparently. Yes, hi Susie. All this time, you could have been bothering me for pets. And the moment that I come over here to sit down and get started, Susie's like, oh, but it's our time. Now is when I... Here. No? Go to your bed. Dogs. But I hope everyone's feeling better. Yeah, see here, there she is. But yeah, so gonna talk about PAX Unplugged and whatever else that I remember right now. I'm gonna run through a couple of other miscellaneous things. Like, I'm very excited. My new planner that I ordered came in. So I'll talk about that very briefly. We can separately do a planner stream if we need to. You have been summoned by Dias. Oh no. Oh my god, Susie, you're so loud. I don't know. Can you all hear the thumping? Can you hear that? If you could, if the thump was coming through, that's her tail hitting the chair. Yeah, that's her tail. She's not allowed to stand near the wall or the cabinets, especially if we're going out very early or very late, because I guarantee you she's waking somebody up with her frickin' tail. Yeah, I'm talking about you. She's on her bed now. Um, all right, sorry, I'm trying to catch up. Let's see. Leaf managed to survive despite the dude trying to cough on you. Melissa, yeah, tired from travel. Definitely think was fighting something. Oh, but with sleep. Yeah, I think I managed because I kind of like prioritized resting once I got back. Blackjack was summoned by dice. Yes, we're going to be inking the dice that I had made but not inked beforehand at the con. I also made another set which I think I might have somehow accidentally not ended up with enough hardener in, because I hate to say they're kind of flimsy, but parts of them feel kind of gooey and not, I shouldn't say gooey, but like not 100% solid. So we'll show you those. So I'll show those off. Hopefully the lighting and the camera placement will work out where you all can actually get some good colors. And yes, so current plan, we're going to talk real brief about planner because that just came in today. I'm very excited. Then we will swap over to dicey things, and while we're dicey thingsing words, while we're messing with the dice and hopefully painting them and what have you, we will also we'll be chatting about PAX Unplugged. Quick plug for PAX Unplugged. Typing exclamation point ITML 2023 into chat. That's what it is. So Into the Motherlands 2023 will give you the link to the YouTube VOD that Cypher put up of our game, which was great. The other thing I did, which was the freelancing 301 panel, was not recorded, so I cannot link to that. Oh no, I just realized that ads were running, and I don't know if it's something I need to add to my overlay or if I just miss it half the time that the ads pop, like the countdown to ads. I miss it. So who knows? So I'm sorry if y'all are getting ads, apparently. I also forget, because I'm usually like, do this, is that I go live and I forget to have the ads play right away while we're in just starting or starting soon. But yes, so brief chat about planner. Then we'll go into dicey things while we talk about PAX Unplugged. And then depending on how long dicey things take, I do have, you can kind of see it back here, a work in progress Shaw that I am going to be working on. Hi, Catherine. Welcome in. I hope you're doing all right and recovering from PAX Unplugged. Yeah, everybody could hear Susie over streamer. Ever since you started doing the at least 24 hours of nothing after every trip before I do life again, you have far fewer. Yes, giving yourself that break is hard, but also important. Blackjack, thank you for that sub with Prime. Welcome in. I hope you enjoy the most important emote of all, which is Susie. And hey, Brian, welcome in. There's no recovery. Go back. Miss Fair. But yes, so real quick, I'm going to run through... is I had ordered, so I have a planner that I got a couple years ago called a Hobonichi Techno, or Techo, and it is a Japanese style of, it is a Japanese company that makes the planner. They do a variety of different ones from mostly A5 and A6 size. They might have an A4 across a couple different ways. So I'd ordered one a couple years ago and quite enjoyed it. And then each year's a little bit of adventure. What? Pretzel's taking us on a journey. Welcome in, Zelka. I can't word today, despite it being Monday. So I have a one of, if you ever want any pictures, I can take pictures of the standard regular one, which I have in the other room, which I used a couple years ago, and decided that I wanted to go back to it, but I wanted to get a slightly larger size, and that was, depending on where you live, Leaf, you might have more options near you than I have. So last time I had ordered actually directly from the store in Japan. You can do it online. I was looking it up this time and it would cost me almost as much to ship it as it would to buy the planner. But I was going to do it, and then partway through, or for fun, I was like, well, does anybody locally or semi-locally sell it, and there's actually a shop in Boston that does stationary things that does sell it. And when I looked it up, I was like, even with shipping and everything, it would basically net out to being the same as if I bought and shipped it from Japan. So at that point, I would get it within a few days versus potentially a couple weeks. So I ordered. I did a slightly different one. So there's a kind of thin cover version that you can get, which I guess is like the classic Hobonichi Teko, that you can like buy covers and things for. So I did a different version. This is the Cousin Han, which basically means that it's a hardcover. I got it in the A5 sizing, and I like the paper they use, and it's really just like, I don't know how well it'll show up here. I don't know. It works for me in the terms of the structure of how they do the months, the weeks, and the days, and then the extra pages they give you. There's little quotes and things per day, and a bunch of other little things that I don't know. I like it. Works for me. They give you like the couple pages at the beginning. So super stoked because this literally just came in the mail. I grabbed it at like 5 o'clock. And so I can start kind of wrapping up my year and starting up the next one with that. So that was planner. Now let's swap over to Crafty View and move my keyboard out of the way because that was on the table. But it's close enough we can get to it, and the mouse is within. But also, I hope everyone's doing all right, that you had a good weekend, and hopefully your week is starting off all right. I don't know how well they're going to show, but also I have to wait for a delay because these focus color. You can kind of see this one ended up a better mix of like the green and purple with a little darker in. A few of the others didn't get quite as good. I'm sorry, because of the way my screens are set up, I can't actually see OBS. So I have to wait for it to show up on the live stream. Here we go. I don't know. There we go. You all can kind of get it. I mean, like, the lighting's not the best, but you're getting an idea of it. I really wish I could actually, let me see if I can find a way. But anyways, so I did this set, which looks really, a couple of them look really dark. I'm not quite sure what I did wrong to them. So anyways, this is the kind of squishy set that I'm not quite sure what happened to them. But it's fine. So, hey Tom, welcome in. So, a couple of them got a little better mix of colors, and a couple of them ended up... So what I did with these is I mixed half and half with green and purple. And then what I tried doing, which is what I think made them also dark, but I didn't think was that bad, was I tried putting just a drop of black ink in between the two colors. So I did all of the purple first, about halfway up, drop of black ink, and then the green, I was trying a slightly heavier glitter, which did not work out as I intended. And the reason you can tell is because if you look at this one at the bottom, it's still sunk, so not the glitter I was thinking it was. And then, like, it's hard for me to show you all because I don't have the best lighting and camera here. But they ended up with, like, the black ink ended up being way more than I thought it was. I needed, like, a quarter of the ink that I put in. So anyways, so that was the set that I tried last night. I'm slowly going to be messing with a bunch of the stuff that Cypher gave me. And attempting to try out. I have a little notebook, so I take notes each time what I'm doing. This is how to make a loaded dice TED Talk. Welcome in, Coldrake. I hope you're doing well. Like, this is kind of what I wanted to actually be. Or maybe the D6 is a good mix. But yeah, we're taking a break from sewing. I am very excited. Actually, hold on a second. I can actually send you all. Oh, are my subtitles working? Me. Nope. Well. PubNap, what are you doing? Pardon me while I attempt to solve problems in real time. Is it working as intended now? Yes, I'm talking at you. No? Maybe? Cool. That's not what I wanted. It's fine. This is all great. Pro dice streamer in less than 2 weeks. I don't know about that. Yeah, the D4 turned out great, right? Like if I turn it a bit. OBS. Sorry, I'm trying to, I pulled OBS so that y'all can hopefully, come on, focus on it. There, maybe? It's like, no, we will focus on your hand. I want you to focus on the dice, come on. There we go. That's kind of it. So you can kind of see green and purple, a little bit of black up here, which is the ink. The D6 ended up having like a good, disregard this there, I need to fix that. Yeah, you can kind of see it here on the D6 that there's some glitter at the bottom. I was testing out a mix there to see if they would be light enough to not sink, and they totally did. So, you know, trial and error. There we go. And so if we tilt it, like you can kind of start seeing the tint of purple and the tint of green. The light here is not the best for this. You all are not getting it the way that I am, which is very unfortunate. I do not have the best camera for this. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take good photos of them. But something I can link for you all is hold on, let me go find it. Sorry, I just thought of this. So, because I told you all about the quilt that I was making for my parents, which I did get done, you can see this is the auction posting for it. So y'all can actually see a pretty decent photo of it. Yeah, they're like, I don't know how well this signed. They don't sound too bad. I just think, I think I was just a little, like, not quite as balanced. This is supposed to be a 1-to-1 ratio, and I just don't think I did as well, because, like, some of the corners are a little, I hate to say, like, squishier, but it's not quite as solid as some of the others. So it was a test. I'll probably try this again and maybe not use the black ink, which made this so dark. So if we get to it, we will make attempts. So yeah, I'll take some good photos of it. Actually, I don't know how well it'll show up on the for you all. Still not easy. I think I'm not the best at I don't know the chemistry of it super well, but the actually, let me see if I can zoom this camera in a little bit for you all. It won't zoom super far, but it will be a little bit closer. But the hardener basically is just making sure it actually sets, otherwise the resin would just be liquid and it would not do anything. And it's more, I think, less about how much you use and more about getting the ratio correct. So this is all supposed to be a 1-to-1 ratio. And I think I just ended up not quite as precisely measuring. So we have 4 sets of dice. These are dice I made. I have 1 extra set that I just never painted that I need to. And then I have the set we just did, which I'll probably attempt to sand first. But we're not going to do that right now. We're going to do some painting. The rest of these did get... Actually, maybe I'll sand a little bit. More for ease of not making too much of a mess on my... I actually don't know what the difference in like sand grit or whatever you want to call it is here. Here we go, this one. Mostly just want to make sure that these are mostly good. But yeah, so anyways, yes, so 1-to-1 ratio, just like the matter, antimatter, and a warp core on a starship, right? It's all making sense now. Listen, I haven't done much sanding and things, so I don't quite know. I did con Leaf into helping me with some sanding at PAX Unplugged. Thanks for that, Leaf. You're the best. To be fair, Leaf, I also did a bad job of sanding, so it's not like it was just you. I clearly did not help. In this case, I have acrylic paints based on the supplies that were given to me. But yes, I have, actually, I realize now that it's not where you all can see it in the camera. I have a giant pack here of 18 colors of acrylic paints. So we will, and then I had a couple that I already had on hand from other projects, which we will, I'm sorry, hold on a second, I forgot a paper towel. And I, once upon a time, was thinking about what colors, but I actually don't know what colors I'm going to do, so we'll find that out when we actually get to painting them. I'm not super particular with these early ones about how well they're sanded or anything. What I mostly want to avoid is the edge that was kind of at the top of the dice mold being too clearly different from the rest of them. Yeah, I know theoretically I understand that that's what I'm supposed to do. But all I got was this nice little pile of different little sandpaper-y thingies, and I don't actually know which one's which, so I'm going by feel. Of like which ones are rougher versus which ones are softer. Just as context for here, I got a lot of things. Provided by friends who said, oh, I have stuff, and they gave it to me, and I really appreciate that. Just the context of it is not everything is something that I'm getting in like a... They're just the same? Oh, wait, that's not on camera. They're just the same on both sides? So I'm assuming that it's like a pack if you purchase, they would be like color-coded because they're each a different color. I think that's the roughest. This is the next roughest. This is the third. Once it starts getting to the softer ones is where I'm very unclear about where they get. But yeah. So I'm assuming it was probably color-coded by the package you get them in, but since I got them by a friend gifting them to me, I unfortunately am figuring it out by feel more than anything else. We're not doing too bad. So anyways, so really I don't have to sand all of these things. There should be a resin tumbler for projects like this, like a rock tumbler, but less smashy. I mean, I've seen, because I of course have been watching a ton of videos about, as much as I can, about dice making now, that, somebody who does like a little turnstile thing where they just sit there and it spins. It's basically what you would use if you were making clay. So it does all the spinning for you and they just leave the dice sitting there for like 10-15 seconds. Swap to the next side and do it all around, and I'm like, that's really cool. All right, real quick, y'all. Oh, you can actually see I tried to do silver on this one and it didn't quite work the way I wanted. But yeah, now the real challenge is picking colors. There is, in fact, a way to make a polishing tumbler for dice. Is there? Do I have to make it myself? All right, let's take a look. So I need to pick some colors. Here's the thing that's probably going to be real interesting for me as I try to figure out like what's a good complementary color for these. Yeah, because like when I look at a few of these, I'm like, yeah, this probably needs to be standard. But like, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like most of these I'm actually making them worse, not better. Well. So maybe for the first few I'm not going to sand them very much beyond what's already been done. These two I will probably do those separately, but these ones I might just cheat and go ahead and paint them and say forget it. But yeah, picking colors is going to be the hard part. What have I got here? Oh, this is the pack, because we were talking about when we were making everything that all of the colors were named funny. And by funny I mean like, instead of green, it's lime. I feel like it will, outside of just doing like black, silver, I don't even think I have a gold in here. Gonna be a lot of yes and no. I don't know enough about how to make one with certainty, but I know there is some, yeah. So like there were some interesting things and maybe that's what I'll work up to eventually. Actually, this one feels rougher. All these little teeny tiny bubbles. But yeah, pairing colors here is gonna be the fun thing. I feel like I'm gonna like paint a color and go like, nope, not like that. I do have my little teeny tiny palette, and some water with my paintbrush. So we're gonna start with this one. So yeah, probably I'll take like one or two of these and set off to the side and do some sanding at some point, to give the colors personalities. I mean, after I say this, yeah, this is the one, do you all remember? Bluish purple. New Dragon. That's actually a fun one. I kind of want to use that for something. Um, there's like a brown. So I have a black and a brown. I don't really have any like gold silver here. Well, I have my own silver, which I can use probably on something else. For Guy, is it red or not red? None of these 20 shades of crimson or scarlet. I mean, that'll be half the fun. And I think this is going to be the big thing, which is like figuring out what are some interesting complementary colors, or not complementary, but interesting colors to do for the inking. So like this set, I wouldn't even know. I mean, I could do like this fun neon, like it's kind of one of those where you're like, you're not quite sure what's gonna work once you ink it. I guess I could do colors on different faces to see how it does. Let's do a simple one though. Let's do like the D6. And pick, I have plum. Alright, I don't think I want a blue. And I don't think I want any of these standard greens because I don't feel like that will pop enough. But dun, dun, dun. Definitely color coded for nat 1s and nat 20s. It's funny because I was looking up like, okay, not that color. Like I'm doing this by process of elimination. Like what colors am I definitely not going to use? Also, this is kind of like not a standard, you know, red, yellow, blue that I have a good idea of what I want to go with it. I don't know. Color wheel, where you be? Me being like, so one of the things that I've been doing, because there's a lot of like how to make your own dice masters, or you know, using your own dice masters to. Actually, you know what? I wanna try this one. Okay, good. I was about to say, please don't tell me that there is a cap on every single one of these, because that would be very, very not fun. Well, that's concerning. There was a lid. I just couldn't tell. I'm sorry. I will give you permissions for a link if nobody is here to do it in just a second. That could have been a very problematic mess. So surprise, there is like a lid protection thing on the paint. Spoiler. I could have made way more of a mess than what I just did, so I'm gonna take this as a win. Alright, well that was foolish. I should not have done it that way. This is why we got paper towels, y'all. Oh, nice! I'll have to... There, see, you all are know. Everybody's like, here's a color wheel. Well, first off, pro tip, do not pull what I just pulled. And not realize that there is a lid. There is a lid-like thing. It's a little clear plastic thing that was in there, but I couldn't tell. I was like, is that just the color of it? This is way prettier than it looked with this lid on it. So, I'm winning right now. Now I have like too much paint on this poor paintbrush because it's just, this brush might actually be too small for this, which is surprising me. Purple, even orange, and a triad. Yeah. I kind of went with this. It said plum, but this ended up being way more pink. Actually, let me put it closer so y'all can see it. I mean, we're just gonna, there's gonna be a little bit of wasting of paint right now, and I'm just gonna own that while I try a few different colors. Especially now that I know that there is a freaking plastic lid on this. I'm not gonna have explodey paint on myself. Yeah, here we go. This is not the color you said at all. Yeah, I'm gonna paint a second one because I lack self-control. Or a second side because I want to see like a couple different colors, essentially. The rest of you are kind of more complicated, so... Like, I'm not even going to put you into the palette. I think I kind of like the pink better, but obviously it's not dried. I'm not sure any of these, at least wet, are the color that the containers say they are. It's fine, though. Ugh. Ugh. Also, they're funny looking because the numbers are at times where it's like, oh, why does the number look so weird? It's because there was a bubble on it, and so therefore there's a little deformity in my Alright, so let me show to you as I immediately put my finger straight into the wet paint. So we have the pink, which was the first color, and then we have this, I don't know what this is. Okay, sorry, I'm actually gonna read chat now. Exploding lids, it's how they sell more faster. Apparently, luckily that did not make as bad of a mess as it could have. Let's see. Small a couple passes better. Yeah, and that's kind of thing where I'm like, this is a really tiny brush for the size of the whatchamacallits, but to your point, I'd rather do a couple of passes than deal with too much of a mess. I don't actually know if you're supposed to put these back on, but I don't want it sitting out, so I am just going to put it back on and be like, this will protect my paint. See how it dries? Yes, yes, yes. Right? It's lovely. But this one, this is a pink. It's supposed to be plum. If it makes you feel any better, this one here, whatever, this is supposed to be raspberry. But yeah, contrast is good. Yeah, try darker or lighter shade to properly mix. Oh, shake to, yeah, that's probably a good call. Solid recommendation. I'm mostly putting, I assume I'm not supposed to put these back on after I open it, but I'm just mostly doing it so they're not here where I'm going to get paint on everything. I mean, I'm already going to get paint on everything, but maybe I'll get a little less paint on everything. I need more paper towels. Lids are tonight's enemies. Instead of doors. Googling dice making. I know, isn't it the worst? You start looking up tutorials and then it's like, oh, here's like a basic one, or here's your safety gear, or here's your, I'm sorry. Yes, reload player? My player on Twitch randomly went out and I was like, oh no, did my internet go down again? But we seem okay. But yes, dice making, it's so easy to fall down a rabbit hole. So for now, I was just like, oh, I'm just like learning how to do different things. And then suddenly, but I also know there's some technicalities around like making your own molds, because I was looking it up just for fun to be like, okay, people who want to sell their dice, obviously, unless you're buying molds that other people, it's like, oh no. Then it becomes a question of, okay, we'll make your own dice masters, which are 3D printed and designed, and then you'll build your own molds out of those, which was a black hole I fell down. And then it was like, who do I know with a 3D printer that would be able to design dice for me? Marty, a legend was bragging about you in the craft aisle at your local Walmart last week. Which quilt? Because there's so many of them. By the way, if you all didn't see, Cypher did post a photo of the quilt. I was able to hand it off to them at PAX Unplugged. The paint did lie to us, so we're gonna let this sit here for a couple minutes and dry. And we'll talk about PAX Unplugged. Hi, Panda, welcome in. Panda, we're having all kinds of mischief. Which is like, this is not, whoever was hoping for an organized stream, this is not it. But yes, PAX Unplugged was great. It was very exhausting. It was, I think somebody said that it was like the most attended PAX Unplugged they've had yet. I think if nothing else, it's definitely comparable to a convention, as I would have expected it pre-COVID, in terms of foot traffic, in terms of just crowdedness of the con. Went to a lot of great talks, panels that friends were on, ones that I just wanted to go check out. Leaf and I had mayhem walking around. Yes, these sax tunes. Pretzel's just taking us on a journey tonight already. But yeah, so the two things that I was scheduled for at PAX Unplugged was the Saturday night one-shot for Into the Motherlands. For those of you, we tuned in for Susie and Chaos, not Order. For those of you who were either able to catch the live stream or watch the VOD afterwards, or you've caught the VOD now that it's up on YouTube on Cypher's channel, I'm always open to feedback. I had a blast. So myself and Urban Bohemian both got to revisit the Motherlands with our characters from the one shot last year, Essen and Mirren. And it was actually really funny to me because there was like a little sub point for me where I was like, did we agree to this? I think at one point we were talking about contracts, and I'm like, did we though? Because when we wrapped this up at the end of last year, Invicta was trying to con me into joining Torch, but I had not technically agreed yet. So I'm like, did I agree in the intervening year? Let's see how many. I actually resisted. I did not purchase a single plush. The one plush I did go try and purchase, I'd seen it as the vendor hall was closing on Saturday. I went back Sunday morning and it had sold like 20 minutes before I came by. So I managed to resist the plushies, which is very unusual. Do not expect that to happen all the time. I do wish you'd been able to do more Panda, but I'm glad you at least got to get your minis in and, attend some bits and pieces and see people. Obviously not ideal. Yeah, the owlbear sold out real quick. I was a little surprised by that. But Again, I'm like, why are these numbers so lopsided? And then I realize it's just because there were a lot of little surface bubbles. This was, for the record, for those of you who maybe weren't here the last time I showed them off, this was the first set of dice that I did under Cypher's tutelage. And like the color consistency and stuff is good, but I absolutely did not let it sit long enough for air bubbles to come out. So like you can kind of see it with the D20. It's just covered in little, maybe you can see it. There you go. Like little speckles. That's all just the teeny tiny air bubbles. Or teeny tiny little indents that formed because of the air bubbles. So actually these are a really good set considering that like they're pretty decent for a first set, but they're good as a practice painting set, I feel. Bubbles are an added feature. Finally posted the photos of Leaf, the mini inner metal. Yes, yes, yes. I'm very glad that I was able to go through and see while they were out. The owlbear was this con's plushie. So like PAX East earlier this year, it was Thimbertrod. Thimbertrod sold out in no time. Chonky Dragon. But yes, so Friday was mostly attending friends panels, doing a walk through the vendor hall, what have you. I didn't have any time commitments on Friday, so it was much more of the exploratory day. Leaf and I did a run. Leaf and I were very funny because we did a run through of the vendor hall and started making a list of the things we wanted to come back to. I definitely convinced Leaf to buy some things. Are mine? I think I moved mine. I bought a couple little, like, build them Pokemon sets. But yeah, so we had... We have such lopsided... Yeah, like, this, even as it's starting to dry, this does not look like plum. And this does not look like raspberry. It's like pink and a peach. But yeah, the owlbear plush was really cute. But so Friday was a lot of wandering around, seeing friends' panels, what have you, doing a little bit of looking and shopping. I don't think I got that's not true. I think I have 1 or 2 photos that I took. I actually resisted. I did not buy a single set of dice this time, except for, caveat here, I bought because it was all that was left. So first off, Leaf is my partner in crime at cons. We have a tendency to wander like the vendor halls and stuff together, and we are both terrible enablers. Mini World's Tavern, who does coffee and tea, was there, and we'd seen it, and we're like, oh, we want to buy stuff, we'll come later, because we don't want to carry all of the like heavy things of coffee or whatever, which this is on me. I'm the one who said let's wait and buy later, and by the time we actually went back to buy on Sunday, they had almost nothing left. But they do these packs where it's like you get coffee, you get a unique magic item that works in 5e and blah blah blah, and one of the things that it comes with is dice. So I did not purchase dice. I bought a thing of coffee that came with dice, and they're like boxed in, so you don't actually get to like choose the dice that it comes with. Glad you said mini because I was going to take a photo. Like, when did Leaf take a photo? Watching a streamer in Baldur's Gate 3, their character went full owlbear. It's big. Yeah, owlbear, very cuddly. I am allowed to enter the Wormwood area unsupervised. We did wander through. I say we, so I'm going to say we here a lot because I did a lot, not all of my wandering, but a good portion of my wandering with Springleaf. So, I avoided the urge and skipped buying dice. I bought a lot of dice last year at PAX Unplugged. I did not buy any dice this year because now I've taken up dice making, as you all can see, and that has escalated very quickly into something. Oh yeah, you can see this. They're sticking together is what I've, okay, hold on. 2, 4, 6, is it you? Yeah, because there's glitter. I'm gonna catch up with chat in just a second. Now you see why the plushie sold out. Yep. Would the colors intensify with one or two more? That's what I'm thinking. I'm actually, probably the pink is good enough for me to add another layer now. I ended up with a little bit too much of the paint, probably because, well, that's interesting. Me tries to... I am trying to paint you, and it feels more like I'm taking off paint rather than adding paint. I'm making this worse, not better. I feel bad. I feel like I'm wasting a ton of paint from this, but that's also, I'm very bad at this. Alright, well, we'll let it dry. I can't say that it's gonna end up too much different. I totally missed that there was coffee. Yes, it was in the back wall. It was like one of the last rows, I think. Yeah, taking photos is like what I think. Bought no dice, but I got 2 free sets. Yay! If I have to go buy fan roll to pick up set 3. Yep. Missed that there was coffee. Yeah, Mini World Tavern. Spend me money within 15 minutes. To be fair, I got to the vendor hall before Springleaf did, and in my initial wandering through like the first section, I came across a vendor. We've seen this guy at like every con we've gone to, who sells like Gunpla kits and other things, in addition to like magic cards and some figurines and stuff. And I was like, oh, you wanted to buy stuff here last time, Leaf. So I was texting Leaf being like, if you come find me, there's a thing you will want to buy here. And it's because there was it's like a Hello Kitty Gundam kit. And I was like, you need this. The coffee was the excuse to get those dice. Yeah, there you go. The only picture I have is from the WizKids booth, the life size. Oh, yep. Fulmir's parents sent us a dice advent calendar. That's fantastic. Coffee and tea from Mini World's Tavern. Yeah, I strongly recommend. I did the Old Great one last year, which is their dark roast coffee, and really enjoyed it. And then I have a different one that I don't remember that I've not opened yet. New Playmat to try out their instant coffee. Go back to them for more. Yeah, that's the thing. I've enjoyed the coffee that I've tried. Blackjack, we're taking pictures. I mean, in fairness, I did not do great at taking pictures. I have a tendency to end up in other people's pictures. The only exception here was Sunday when both Pirate and I were in our Team Rocket outfits and we were hanging out after one of the panels, and everybody's like, oh, let us take photos of you with your Pokeballs and stuff like that, because we're nerds and that's what we do. Yeah, we're all always too busy hanging out to remember that, yes, we should take photos with our friends. Unless you hit it with a hairdryer, you might have to wait there. Yeah, that's a lot. Okay, well, guess what? We're going to finish painting the rest, and we're going with the pink because I like it better than whatever this supposed raspberry is. So we're just going to have one randomly other colored number. I think if I was doing a thinner layer to start, it wouldn't be so bad, but I'm having a little bit of trouble with the color actually like sitting in versus me just like moving it around. It's like not really filling the whole number, if that makes sense. But good to know. As you all can see, I've not done much inking before, so this will be a little bit of a learning curve, and over time we will get better at this. Probably what I'll do too is I will eventually, as I think about like what I'm going to stream next year, we'll see what ends up happening through the rest of this year, because for reasons which I may or may not talk about on Thursday, depending on how tomorrow goes. I will I would like to add the occasional like making a set of dice in, but because I do want to make sure that I'm being safe, I do have a respirator mask to use. So it might be like a dice making stream might be more of a, well, music playing in the background while I make the dice, and then once I'm actually done, we can break everything down. The space that I'm in is not very well ventilated, so I'm hesitant to not be wearing the mask while I did the first few times because I was trying it out and I wasn't sure how much I was going to really get into dice making. But now that I'm like, yeah, I'm full in, let's go. I want to make sure that I'm using all of the correct safety gear. And like maybe if I eventually ever get a, what are they? The lav mics, the ones you click on where I can have it right here and it'd be right underneath the mask where it might be a little easier to hear. I would consider not just doing a silent or like music background stream. Pictures next year. Fan roll allegedly at Gen Con dice. We appreciate you too, Nightbot. Ordered loops, earplugs for next year. There's way too much. Yeah. I will say it's the one thing. So I will chat a little bit with PAX Unplugged, which is to say, depending on how much of a con goer you are, it can be very overwhelming. So like one of the things is like when I needed breaks, I took breaks. And by breaks, I mean, did I go stand in a corner by myself away from people because I needed to not be by people? Yes, absolutely I did. Most of the time, the way that I was breaking up my day meant I couldn't, like the AFK lounge didn't make sense for me. But it's definitely an option. And then there were also times where I was like, I need a break and I'm supposed to be somewhere in like an hour. I'm going back to my hotel room. And I'm going to sit away from people for, 30 minutes. And then we'll try all of this again. You can just sit there. I need more paper towels. Hold on a second, y'all. We are going to talk more about like PAX Unplugged, but yeah, it's one of the things where I know it's like briefly mentioned, but I think it is probably a better thing, and something I'll think about for next year to talk about more before cons, which is one, there's too much to see, people, panels, what have you, the vendor hall for you to see everything in 3 days with how busy it is. So that means that you kind of need to prioritize what are the most important things for you, and then be comfortable with saying I'm not going to see everything, or I need to take a break, or I need to go to the AFK lounge, things like that, because obviously like taking care of your health is very important. You don't want to be on all the time. Conversations, noise, crowds can get overwhelming. There were a couple of points where I'm like, I would legitimately just go, like, I'm going to go stand in this corner area where there's not a lot of people away from the main, especially in the vendor hall, because I was like, I just need space from people. I'm overwhelmed. Painting dice stitches is the gateway drug into learning how to tattoo. Good to know. Fulmir had his loops in at PAX, yeah. It's just, it's kind of twofold of like, one is expecting, like, I shouldn't say expecting, but going in with the understanding that it's probably going to be even more overwhelming than you think, especially if you have not done cons very often. And then in addition to that, it's accepting that you're not going to get everything done. There's overlapping shows, there's overlapping panels. Most of the panels are running at the same time that the vendor hall is open, so you might choose, like there was a dice making panel I had intended to go to on Sunday, and then it was like, no, I want some time at the vendor hall before the show was done, and then I was kind of done with being there. And so I ended up missing that panel, which I feel bad about, and I hope to maybe go see if that was one of the streamed ones. I do not think it was, but like, There will be future panels. There will be future shows. So kind of anticipating, like, what are things? I didn't have it this time, but as much as we joke about me with plushies, like, part of the reason that I often have a plush at a con is because that is an anxiety related thing for me. I like the comfort. I like the ability to hug something. And not that you can't hug people, but, like, there is just a degree of comfort that comes with that. Hello, welcome in, Raiders. Hello, hello, hello. I hope the, crap, what were you all talking about? I forget. You were talking about something. And then you were playing Magic. Hi, welcome in, Pirates. Sorry, I'm like, I can't multitask right now. Welcome in, Pirates and friends. I hope you all are doing well today. And things are going all right for you. For those of you that don't know me, I'm LadyLuck34. My pronouns are she, her. I am a variety streamer who does gaming stuff and crafting stuff. And oh my god, I have too many hobbies because now I've added dice making to it, which you can kind of see here. We're attempting to paint some of the dice that I have made, and I am very bad at it. So welcome in. How did Magic Arena go? You were doing your Twitch recap. That's what it was. I was like, what were you doing that I can't remember, but you were talking about something before you started playing. Oh, let me scroll up with chat. One of the reasons you wanted, definitely took away from con breaks in your room or a few blocks away. Yep. One of the reasons, we've also been talking about PAX Unplugged. One of the reasons you wanted a nearby room. Exactly. I was across the street. It was so much easier. Or you completely forget about a panel you wanted to go to. I'm not the only one who wanted to hit the dice making panel. It's the one downside that I feel for them that they got like kind of end of con timing schedule, because I do feel like there was some attendance they didn't get just because so many people were exhausted there at the end. But Mithrin, Springleaf also rating in. Sahana, hello. Thank you for that shout out for Pirate Cypher. Leaf, welcome Raiders and myself. Ran down the Twitch recap. Yes, Twitch recap and the Magic. That's right. Rating on in with Pirate Crew. Hey, Rex, welcome in. Sahana, yes. As everyone's tabs condense down, they do start to merge, don't they? Hold on. Wait a second. An opponent got over 100 bug tokens out and then didn't swing with all of them to send me into negative triple-digit life. I was very sad. Kill me properly, you coward. I mean, that's a mood. Like, if you're gonna take me out, at least, like, make it epic, right? Hold on a second, I will show off dice properly. We're finding out that I'm very bad at painting. Also, I think this paint color was a lie, because it said this was supposed to be plum, and this is absolutely, like, bubblegum pink. Not well painted, but you can kind of see this. We're doing this pink as a contrast color, but it just ended up more pink rather than plum, which is what I thought it was gonna be. The cake is a lie. I mean, I assume that probably this will slowly I will get faster at this as I get better at it, but like, we're not doing great here. But anyway, so we're talking about PAX Unplugged, because this is my actual first post-PAX stream. We haven't made it very far because we keep getting distracted. It's lovely pink to use for the number. Thank you. Based on how quickly you picked up dice making, probably a pro dice maker to stop it. I really appreciate how kind everyone has been to me about all of my various crafts, and more than that. So actually, yeah, let me, everyone was very, very, very nice, very kind, and very complimentary about a bunch of stuff. The quilt that I had made and handed off to Cypher at PAX Unplugged, which Cypher posted a photo of. Feel free to link to that if you would like. It was the first, it's one of those where it's like, you know, you're doing all right, but it still is so helpful to have people acknowledge the things that you have done. So the kindness and the compliments about that quilt, the kindness and the compliments when people got to see my dice, you know, at the show, because I did bring these 4 sets with me to the con to kind of show off and talk about, and you know, I had learned this the week before, essentially. It was technically like a week and a half before. But like, these were the 4 sets. So for those of you who hadn't seen it before, this is the very first set that I made with Cypher. So that was set 1. Set 2 is not here because set 2 was a disaster. This was set 3. I don't know how easy it is to tell because they ended up blending together more than I would have liked, but there's actually yellow and orange here. Actually, you can kind of see it here on the edges that there's orange in the center and yellow on the edges. So this was dice set number 3. Dice set number 4 was this one, which was me doing, hold on, I'm trying to like check the camera, which was me doing a yellow, or a light green, a lightish blue, and then I put just a drop of ink in each of them and tried to swirl it around. So just testing that out. This set turned out really nice. Then last was, I was trying to do my first attempt at kind of like Galaxy Nebula-esque purple blues and sort of a tealish color. Again, I'm not sure how well all of those are sort of making it out. Some of the lighter colors are a little harder to see. With the idea that I'd have kind of an idea of how I would mix it so that it would, when I can add glitter, it would seem more. And then the new set, which I actually made yesterday and popped out today, which didn't quite turn out the way that I would have liked, but they're not terrible, is this one. They ended up a lot darker. The only 2 that kind of ended up closer to what I was attempting to do was this, which is like a purple green with a little bit of darkness. The rest ended up way darker than I was planning. The D4 isn't quite so bad. You get a little bit more combination of the purple and the green, but yeah, the rest ended up really, really dark. The D8 has a kind of good, again, hard to do. This is not, all of these are kind of standard webcams, y'all. I don't really have a good like craft camera like some of our friends do, but thank you, Panda, for that. But I was appreciated how complimentary everyone has been to the things that I've been doing and the crafts I'm picking up, even as I'm learning, because not to say compliment me, but it's nice to have that kind of like positive degree of feedback. So thank you, Panda. Thank you, Mithran. Hey, Prax. Did I miss you coming in, Prax? Welcome. Good evening. Also, thank you. Yeah, so, I mean, a lot of these are trial and error. I'm learning a lot each time that I try stuff. I also, this particular set, I don't think I quite got enough hardener because it's a little squishy. So, a little bit of trying. Yeah, Space Nebula. That's what I was hoping for with these, with the idea that once I figured out how to do glitter appropriately, I could add glitter to it and it would look like space. But yeah, so everybody was very kind and complimentary about the quilt, about seeing the dice. I played, so a little bit of background here. I played in the, or I performed in the Into the Motherlands one-shot, which was on Saturday night. And one of the things that I kind of want to, not call out, but I just want to acknowledge is, while I have played tabletop campaigns and stuff, they've mostly been private games, so like playing with my friends and things of that nature. The very first time that I did anything streamed or on stage was actually at PAX Unplugged last year, 2022, and it was the Into the Motherlands one-shot that we did. And so like that was the very first thing, and then the second thing I did was just a few weeks later, when I did the Charity Vania, a game in the Charity Vania stream that Prax Praxagoria did. And so, like, I've done a few things now. I did a Monster of the Week one-shot on Only Tom Will Tell's channel, which was quite fun. I did another charity thing as part of, I believe, was it as part of Stream to End MS, I believe? I'm like, I don't even remember. They blur together. So, like, this Into the Motherlands one-shot at PAX Unplugged 2023 is only the 4th time that I've done anything streamed, like, as a performer versus just playing a game with friends. And I'm very conscious of the fact that I'm just not as good as all of the more experienced people. And that's not a slight to myself. It's just that you are performing. You are putting on a show for the people that have tuned in. And I am still learning the ways to be not good at that, but better at that. In terms of thinking about, you know, what do you play to, the camera or the audience? You know, what is something that Mandy would do that would be funny just for Mandy because that's how I am, and what's something that makes sense for, like, what's happening in the game or this system. You know, for Motherlands especially, it's important to me that we're really demonstrating the system because my friends made it, and I think it's a great system, and I enjoy playing it. So, like, it is very daunting. It is... Pirate can vouch for... Pirate and Leaf can both vouch for the kind of anxiety I tend to have in advance of doing the Motherlands game at PAX. Because it is anxiety inducing for me because I want it to go well, and I want to hopefully stand on par with the much more skilled performers who I'm sharing the space with. And not just performers, but, like, I don't know, sometimes I watch, like, Urban Bohemian stream and I'm like, you are so good at this, and I'm clearly not that good. Just like a regular stream. In the context of how you speak, how you manage reacting to things, stuff like that, where I'm like, I'm just not that entertaining comparatively. And it's not meant as a slight to me, it's just I'm not good at being more than myself, I guess. I feel like I'm in an 80s arcade game right now. Can anybody confirm if that is the case? And again, none of this is meant as, okay, that was the end of the song. None of this is meant as an insult to myself, just more like an acknowledgement that I don't have as much experience with some of these things. So everybody was very, very kind about my performance in Into the Motherlands. It's a great one-shot. Type !ITML 2023, and you can get a link to the VOD if you haven't caught it. And it's like, there were a couple of funny things, and this is where I can tell, like, that I'm, like, improving as a performer, because, as an example, there's a moment in the show where I did not choose my words particularly well, and so the point I was trying to make turned into this very comedic moment where nobody understood me. Nobody understood me. And, like, it ended up being funny, and I just rolled with it, but I was like, that was not what I was trying to do. Because we go through a long string of what's happening and back and forth without getting into specifics for anybody who hasn't watched it. But we go into this long string back and forth of, like, what are we doing? What's our purpose? What's our mission? What have you? And then we get onto the ship, and what I'm attempting to understand is, like, what's your plan, commander in charge of the team? But the way that I phrased the question to them came across to everyone as if I just missed the past, like, 20 minutes. And I ended up letting it go because I was like, this is very funny and everybody's laughing, but they're also like, oh no. Rather than me being like, no, I was trying to understand, like, what's your mission, or, like, how are you planning for us to tackle this mission? So, like, if this had been me at a different time, you know, a year-ish ago, I probably would have attempted to correct the assumption of what I had asked, but I just had to be like, nope, I made a bad word choice, which everybody misunderstood, and we are just going to run with this. Because trying to correct it is not gonna, it's gonna kind of like break the flow of what we're doing. But I had a lot of fun playing Mirren again. I had a blast getting to play with Cypher as our storyteller, with once again sharing a table with Urban Bohemian, for the first time getting to play Motherlands with DM Jazzy Hands. And Fairbear for the first time, who I've seen in chats because we end up in a lot of the same, as we all know, our communities overlap, but who I had not actually met in person or gotten to play with before. So that was fun. Yeah, no, see, everyone was like, this is, so the moment where I'm like, what's happening or what are we doing or something, and everybody took that as a like, I've missed the entire point, and thinking it was on purpose. No, the question I was trying to ask there, the point of that was, you're the commander, what's your plan? Like, what are we doing? Give us a command. Nobody took that from it. So there was that. It's also funny because I do need to go back and actually clip the game, but I haven't done it yet. But I did kind of, I did rewatch it, and there's stuff that I totally missed. Because either I was like making a dice pool or other people were talking, because like there's a moment where I'm doing something ridiculous towards the end of the one shot, and I was like, listen, you told me to do something, and Eugenio, DM Jazzy Hands, goes, no, for the first time in 1 hour and 40 minutes, I support your decision. I missed that. And looking back, I'm like, that's hilarious, and I wish that, like, I didn't even process it. But anyways, everybody was very kind and complimentary for my performance during that, which is always reassuring because I don't have a lot of experience being, like, on stage or on stream for like, as a performer. Like, if everybody had fun with it, I've done good. All of my numbers look really lopsided because of all of the extra bubbles. Like, my 8 looks so lopsided because there's extra bubbles that, like, ended up on like, cutting into the middle of it. Yeah, well, and that's the thing where it's like there's a lot of, did I use the right words for people to get what I'm trying to convey? And guess what? That's not what happened, but it was still funny, so it's fine. And we'll run with it. You know, it's how one-shots go. They don't necessarily go to plan. Also, can we talk about the fact that Jazzy used my little dragon dice bag to try and demonstrate running across the table, and I thought that was hilarious. And here's my that's basically what this is. This is my bubble set. I'm gonna be like, look at how funky my numbers look because there's bubbles everywhere. That is an accurate representation of this particular set. Real talk, I semi-cheat if I think I have enough time to do it. It's not cheating. I have a candle warmer, you know, like a little pad that heats up so it like melts the candle, and that's how you get the scent rather than actually like lighting the candle on fire. When I can tell that there's like a lot of bubbles, I just I have the little silicone cup, so I just like put the silicone cup with the resin on the candle warmer that's hot, and it takes like a minute or two and most of the bubbles rise, and then I can just pull it off and it's great. You just have to be careful because obviously you're heating the resin, which therefore is going to speed up the curing time. Working on it, working around for those bubbles. Can we talk about the fact that I have been looking up a lot about, obviously, resin dice making, Um, y'all, we are definitely not getting to crochet tonight because I'm easily distracted and we are still on the very first set of dice. Note to self. I need to do some serious inking of dice. Or I'm gonna have some real struggles. Because I have so much dice to ink and not... I mean, I need to figure out properly sanding them first. I will probably ink the yellow-orange set without any sanding, but I do want to try and figure out sanding for the other two because I kind of like the nebula and the green-blue set enough that I sort of want to try and attempt to sand them before I ink them. But anyways, so yes, I've been looking up like dice tutorials and like supplies and things like that. But the one thing I have not searched at all is pressure pots. And you know what Amazon has now twice tried to sell me with a push notification on my phone from the shopping app? A pressure pot. I'm like, too real, y'all. I know you're looking at my search history and everything, but I have not actually looked for a pressure pot yet. So stop trying to sell me one. That is like a year from now if I'm still that hardcore into this. That is, I'm attempting to now actually sell dice, and I'm going to get somebody to make me dice masters and 3D print them so that I can make my own molds with my own design. That's when I buy a pressure pot. Love it. Watch those videos making resin river table. They're really cool to watch people make different resin things. I just like, I don't think I'm, outside of maybe like trying to do like an actual dice vault or a case that would work like a dice vault for with resin, there's not too much else that I'm really willing to. Like, I'll watch videos of it, but I don't actually want to do it. Case in point, y'all. Leaf and I both signed up for and got into the Intro to Mini Painting workshop at PAX Unplugged. And I painted my very first mini, which I will grab in a second to show you all. And kind of my takeaway from it is that this is cool, and I might do it as like a one-off with like, hey, a friend wants to give me a blank mini and I'm going to attempt to paint it on a stream with whatever dice I already have. I'm sorry, with whatever paints I already have, like these ones. But like at the end of it, I was like, you know what? I don't think like regular mini painting is for me. Maybe something larger form, but even then I still just think it's the precision detail in that particular way just doesn't work for me, which is funny because obviously like I sew and I crochet and what have you, but for whatever reason in the mini painting format, that kind of detail work is just not for me, and that's fine. Could you make a low pressure chamber to bring the bubbles out? I mean, like, maybe. I don't know how well you all can see it, but this weird little pink thing back here is actually the start of a shawl that I've been working on and off. The planned schedule. What's crochet? Fuzzy dice. Yes. Fuzzy dice is correct. Pressure pots scare me. Amazon knows you will want. Might as well get it now. Amazon's trying. I don't think Amazon's going to succeed the way they think. I'm already like, oh crap. Where am I going to put the stuff that I've already got now for dice making, much less buying anything else for dice making? Basically, my plan right now is to clear out a couple more bins of stuff from sewing and crochet. And if I can do those in the next couple weeks, I can turn one of those bins into my dice making supply bins. Oh, not what I meant to happen there. Because I don't really exactly have a ton of space for a new craft. Honestly, right now, all of my dice making stuff is sitting in the cardboard box that a bunch of it came in. And essentially what I do is I pull it out of the box and put it on the table when I'm ready to make something, and then when I'm all done and I've cleaned everything, I put it all back in the box. So there's literally just a cardboard like shipping box that's hanging out over here. Exactly, they take up a lot of real estate. I live in an apartment. It is a apartment that is already full of stuff from multiple other crafts. Resin dagger dice. I was looking at different molds. The thing is that it's like, I respect why the molds are so expensive. But they're definitely kind of, I'm like in the, can I get somebody to 3D print one of these so that I can make my own masters kind of thing for like dice vaults and stuff, rather than spending, you know, $50 to, now it probably would net out to spending $50 or more for me to just buy the silicone mold myself. Sorry about that. Didn't want to cough on y'all. Leave. I learned that mini painting is hard. You're not wrong. And it's funny because, like, when I just think about it, it's just for some reason that particular style of detail work is not as intriguing or fun for me as, like, making dice, as sewing, as crocheting. Despite the fact that they're all detail work, they're just different kinds of detail work. Okay, I thought this was a lot of paint, and like obviously I'm not being super efficient with how I'm painting, but I'm still using most of what I had initially popped out, so clearly it's gonna take more than I thought. And this is just for my first terrible coats. If I wanted to come back and do a second coat, I would need more. Again, I'll get more efficient over time, clearly. Ugh. A large can pumped to 60 to 80 psi. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, it might be different if I had like a garage or a house or something, but I live in an apartment, so I'm not really comfortable with, you know, having to do a compressor or something like that. In my apartment. Maybe if I lived on the first floor, I would feel differently about it, but I do not. I've made an absolute mess of all of this. I do like, it's going to be a fun shawl. This is a different, a new pattern. And I have a sheeple's whirl. Yarn, which I'm very excited about. What is this pretzel? I will have to better set up next time for painting. When my eyes worked, I painted minis. These days, I just can't see in my Cremo. I need a fourth craft table. I want to move my 3D printer. Well, and this is the thing, because, so you all can't see it, but this table is basically my craft table. I have, here to my left is where my actual computer and everything is. And I don't really have a lot of space. Like, I have this table behind me, but this is my folding table that I use for, cutting fabric and other things. For my fabric-y things. My sewing stuff. There you go. I can word, y'all, so well. Pulling a flexible fire, red rag, and fills the overflowing with day. I am going to have to find a way to, I need to get good enough at dice making to start gifting dice to my friends. so that I'm not just holding on to 15 million sets of dice. So that's really the true goal, is that my dice gets good enough that my friends will accept a set from me. So that I don't have to just have so many dice myself. All of my numbers look so funky because of the bubbles. I'm like, what number is this? And then I realized, I'm like, oh yes, it looks weird because they're weird little bubbles. 3D printing sounds like such a fun hobby. Just not sure where to put one. Having the space and then figuring all of the logistics, it's definitely one of the things where I'm like, can I just have a friend with a 3D printer print the stuff I need for me? Like, I will pay you. Like, figuring out, like, it's not a rush because I still have so much to learn before I get to any point of trying to have my own, like, dice masters. But it'd be like, yeah, somebody want to make me a set of dice masters? Okay, so now that, oh no, Pirate is back. Now that I'm back at my desk and can type, I know conversation has moved on. Uh-oh. Have I made myself a target of kindness? Assuming you don't just tell me to prefer regarding performing in Motherlands. Yeah, it's fine. Go for it. Whirl is such a good yard. Important difference. Sorry, I'm like playing catch up with chat. Important difference to draw between being inexperienced and being good. Fair. You are correct there. Get the anxiety and feeling unrefined, but a lot of newer time. Well, thank you, Pirate, for the kind words. Is it really bad that I'm like, usually I'm just being me? Like, here you're just getting unfiltered Mandy pretending to be acting like it's a totally different character when no, it's really just Mandy. If she was allowed to be in these settings. Dice I've made are good and I could gift them. Thank you. Leaf. This. Offer that. Thanks for hanging out, Blackjack. I'm sure I will, but thank you for that. I really appreciate it. I mostly like trying to build a kind of bookmark list of supplies so that when I want to start expanding, I know where to go. But thank you, Blackjack. I appreciate you hanging out and have a good one. Thank you for the kind words, everyone. And I want to be, like, it's one of those weird things where I'm not trying to intentionally downplay myself. I'm not trying to just fish for compliments. I will never turn down compliments. But I think it's just, it's just a little bit of both anxiety and insecurity, especially when I just see how good, whether it's at crafts, whether it's at performing, whatever the case may be, that other people are. I mean, I'm not saying no to compliments, but I'm very conscious of how I stand against people, especially when they are more experienced, and just not wanting to, like, bring a game or a show down. I want people to have fun. I want them to feel like they got something good out of it, and, my ideal with it is that at the end they go, like, oh, that was fun, but, like, so-and-so just really wasn't on the par of everyone else. Now, if you just say, I didn't like the character you played, that's a different thing. And, like, not that I'm going to be perfectly on par with much more experienced people. But yeah, I don't know. Thank you, Mithrin, for telling me that my dice are gorgeous. I do think they are quite pretty. Some of them might have started drying a little bit. We're not going to make it into mini dice sets. I'll have to figure out. I think I will try to do these in a red those I think will be a red. This does say red, right? Yes. The reason I always raid over here, and it's not just because you're my friend. Thanks, Pirate. Thank you. I appreciate that. Not all bad, and that's kind of what I mean. Like, I have a lot of conversations with inanimate things in real life. Context here for y'all, besides having Susie, I live alone, and I have for about a decade. I had roommates in college, and I was like, I can't do this long term. And so I've definitely picked up the, like, it's twofold. One is it's just externalizing my thought process, and then the other is, yeah, just like background noise and things like that. So I talk to a lot of random things. You know, I communicate to an inanimate, you know, like, think about it, like, do what I want you to do. Why are you being so difficult? Like, that sort of stuff. Actually pretty funny. Best example is how you describe your animal friend more than... Okay, no, this is... Okay, so Leaf brings up a really good point. So we talked about this for Motherlands last year, and it was actually a very comedic thing as we were prepping before they were letting people into the room for Motherlands this year, which is that... when I was planning out my character, Mirren, she is a Batantu pack master, which means that she has essentially an animal companion in the lore of the Into the Motherlands world. And I picked this particular creature, and this creature is a Volca, which in the context, we saw it during one of the seasons of Into the Motherlands when it was being done on Twitch on Cypher's channel. But in the context of Motherlands, a Volca is basically like an ankylosaurus that lives in volcanoes, and so can, like, basically spit out or cough up, like, superheated rocks. And when I was planning out my character, I had a few different, like, options for what my character could be based on who the rest of the group had chose, so that we ideally wouldn't overlap our character types and stuff. But, like, I had a whole plan how I named my Volca's name is Breccia, Breccia, which, if you look that up, it's a very specific type of rock with a very specific type of look. So, like, I had this whole plan, and so when we did our introductions, I had a very detailed description. Whale crap. Okay. Very, sorry, message came in that I needed to check. But so very detailed description of my animal companion and no detailed description of my character. And it was this comedic thing where it's like, you can clearly tell where my priorities were that I was prepared. I had this whole background. I could describe my character. And then on the flip side, or describe my character's animal companion, and then I had no plan made for my character. I was just like, my character's average. Like, that was my description. So yes. Thank you, Panda. Yes. Words are hard, which we all know. And sometimes medication does not help. Yeah, and it's something that comes with time. One, it's mentality, absolutely, Pirate, in terms of being coached. And, like, obviously, like, most of my experience so far, besides playing in campaigns off screen, has been being a viewer in to a bunch of campaigns and one-shots and stuff that I've watched. And okay, it is, like, drying a little bit darker, but I still don't think this is plum. I still think this is just straight up pink. I'm like, which ones went first so we can kind of see. I'll have to do some more cleaning. But actually, I don't want to move them too much in case I get more ink on myself. But you can see with the D6 that we have our nice... I feel like I wasn't sure if this pinkish color would work out, but... it did. Yeah, I think it's just the colors they told me are lying to us. I mean, like, it matches to the color that's in the thing, but it says it's plum. This is not plum. Words are hard, talking to walls, never judges. True. walls can't talk back, theoretically. Calling back, well, no, that's exactly it. Calling back to Praxis one shot where I talk to a wall. Listen, if your dice cooperate with you, anything is possible. But also, like, I perceive, and this is the Mandy logic of things where I'm like, well, why can't I talk to a wall? Let me roll for that. More like props to Prax for letting the wall talk back. The Charity Vania game was very good. We had a lot of fun. For those of you who weren't here for my description, the Charity Vania... Also, hi, welcome in, DC. I was lurking in your stream earlier today. I hope you're doing all right. I was lurky because I think you were playing Sea of Stars, which I do want to play eventually, so I didn't want to get any spoilers. But I had it up so that you would get the view count. At least I hope that was your stream. I definitely knew you were live doing something, and I think that was it. But yeah, so for the Charity Vania game that Prax hosted on New Year's Day at the beginning of this year, I played a character. I play a character who was a bard who has this really ridiculous backstory that was very comedic and was coming together as we did that. And as I was pulling it together, and the whole context for my character was that because the title of the program that Prax put together was Charity Vania, with the idea that we were raising funds for Fisher House. The game was going to be played like a Metroidvania. So basically, if you died, you would be sent back to the first room, you would respawn, and you would just build up, she gave the explanation, like a type of sickness that would impact you in terms of how quickly you could die and stuff over time. So the logic being is that basically, if you died, it wasn't a permadeath, you would respawn, and you could keep going, and then progress was carried from game to game. I think we were the first game of the day. So basically, like, whatever rooms we had found and explored had been opened on the map, and the next group would find the next one. I think there was somebody who died in the later game and then appeared as a vampire in the game after that, things like that. And so when I was reading this explanation of how Prax was going to run the game, I was like, I feel like we're going to die a lot, and therefore we should have the sound effect of like the really bad recorder version of somebody doing My Heart Will Go On from Titanic. That like you play when you die in a game. Or maybe this is just something me and my friends did when we were playing PUBG when that was still in early access like 5 years ago. But so I was like, oh, I need to do this. And then we figured out that like I couldn't press my button and play the sound clip and have it work on the stream. So I was like, well, I need to buy a recorder and figure out how to play My Heart Will Go On badly. And that's the entire basis for that character. Is I picked a reason and was like, this is what I want to happen in this game. And then none of us died until the very end, which was... I did get to play the recorder because I tried to charm bats. It did not work. There's an entire clip of being like, it's not you, it's them. Which was really disappointing. It's the first time I've ever played a bard. I should also contextualize that. I'd never played a bard in my life before this. But yes, so yes, the paint is still lying to us. Yes, the paint is lying. This is not plum. What did you say this was, Pirate? It's Arizona green tea. It does make a thing in your chat. It pops up. What streak reached? It was you that was playing. Great. Awesome. Oh yeah, that if you caught the Charity Vania game, so this is again the only time that I played either on stream or at a table like publicly as a performer. Before this was the Into the Motherlands one shot last year, and this has really just turned into a just chatting stream, y'all. I am actually going to try and do a little bit more painting. Hold on, let me respond to this. I apologize, but this is like somebody's panicking and I need to respond to this. Um, all my friends are too good to me. Okay. Not that you all aren't also good to me. But that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant to click. They, when my phone updated, they moved where different icons are, and so I keep clicking the wrong icons. Crap, do I have a... I was gonna ignore it. And then somebody had to message me. Okay. Well, that's fine. My apologies, y'all. Well, apparently last minute things happening. Yes, this is a chatting stream with some dice inking along the way. We've also learned from our mistakes, y'all, because what we are not going to do is we are not going to accidentally pop out paint. It was great. Thank you, Panda. I'm assuming that that was in reference to my story about me playing a bard for the very first time, or my character Solaris, that's her name, which I used for the Infernal Goose Chase game as well, which was also nonsense. Thought about PUBG is still a thing. It's funny, I played so many hours of PUBG when it was early access, and basically by the time it hit 1.0, like official release, I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm done with this now. Yeah, this is round 2 versus the lid. We're gonna try and do this without just like getting myself covered in. See, like, this doesn't look red. Does this look red? This doesn't look red. This feels like a lie. I think I have like some other acrylic paints that are more legit the colors that they say they are than this, because this is not. That's not red. None of these colors make sense, y'all. Plum, not plum. Plum. The recorder, yeah, so the recorder was, so that was the basis. Like, it wasn't a master plan of I, like, want to make a bard that does a recorder. It was, I want, yeah, see, I want this to be, like, red, and this is not red. This is, like, a weird nether pink. Well, crap, now what? I just poured this all out, and this is not the color I wanted. I'm gonna cry now. I won't cry, I'm kidding. They all look like, all of these pinks look really similar. This is supposed to be red, this is supposed to be raspberry, and this is supposed to be plum. By the way, there is a actual pink. It's just like a little lighter pink, I guess. This is supposed to be red. This is the one I just poured out. The paints are a lie. I do have a legit red. Hold on. Hold on a second while I find it. Yeah. No? That is a crimson, which I think is darker. Actually, no, that might be what I want. Alright, let's actually try. I don't want light red. Throwback, y'all. These paints, golden acrylics from when I used to do canvas painting. Ow. Ooh, you're very dark. Just do a little bit of that. See, that's crimson. I'm not going to put a ton because we're just going to try each of them and see how it goes. And then I'm going to attempt to get whatever all of this is back in. Let's see. They are real pretty, just none of them are the color that I wanted. Makes me feel like I'm at a ball. That's fine. I mean, yes, I was thinking it was like that or like a 70s something show. Pearl pigments are probably desaturating the colors. Possibly. I just kind of find them a little... Okay, well, guess what? I don't think the regular red is going to be as good as I had hoped. I probably should have watered that down a little bit. It's a little too thick. So let's try that with this guy. Oh, too much watered down. Well, guess what, y'all? I think the weird not red color is actually the one I like the best of these. Despite the fact that I just got my fingerprint all over it. So hold on a second, we will show you all of these colors. So as a reminder, here is our weird pinkish color. Here is our actual red, which is not as bad as I thought when I was painting it on, but still... Okay, can you please focus? It says no, we'll focus on hand, not on dye. It focuses on the background, not on dye. There we go. And then finally, we have the crimson. This is gonna sound terrible. The red's not as bad, but I actually think the weird not pink is what I almost like the best. The Barbie soundtrack is in my head right now, but it's an upbeat, cute soundtrack and bopping along. I mean, listen, pretty dice with pretty numbers with a good soundtrack or background is always great. Pretzel is taking us on a journey through the decades. This not pink is the supposed red. It says red. This is not red. So this is the one that I poured in thinking it was gonna be, it was supposed to be a red, which it was not. So that's this guy down here. And then we have the, with this particular one, I don't quite, the crimson I feel is too much. Too much. The red by itself is not that bad, but it doesn't pop the same way that the not red does. Which is just wild. So I guess we're gonna paint these. I don't love these. Now I'm like, I just need something totally different. Maybe it's none of these. Well, since we're gonna paint everything a different color, just for fun. I mean, at this point, if we're gonna bust out all of, whoops. The problem is I didn't shake these before I tried to get anything out of them. Just for fun. we're gonna do black, because why not just go to extremes? And then we're gonna do silver just for fun. I will go back and paint over these at some point. We're just doing a test. The net of this test is I do not have the appropriate... Actually, I'll have the 5 left. We're gonna try something else after this. Oh yeah, the silver is definitely not gonna work. But I wanted to try it. Continuous appreciation of you, Nightbot. Nightbot's out here doing work. Keeping everything. Alright, so here is what the 4 looks like. With black. Which is actually not that bad. And then the silver. Which I unfortunately, I hate the silver. It does not work with this color. Just got more paint on me. Let's just take this as much of the silver out as we can. Yes, this is the dice equivalent of Pantone color swatch, basically. That is what I am doing right now. None of the colors are working the way I wanted, so just we're gonna... Alright. Haha. Just for fun. I don't know that it's gonna work the way I want, but just for fun, we're gonna try the yellow. The black is the better. Yeah, the silver was terrible. The black is not too bad. It just feels a little harsh. So let's try. Yellow. Okay, you know what? I thought I was gonna love it better, but I hate it. I really don't like the yellow. It pops, but I hate to say it, but I think the pink, not pink, is my favorite so far. Which I also don't love the pink, not pink. But it's just not as jarring. As all of these other ones. I guess, like, maybe the crimson is growing on me. If they were all crimson. I mean, and that is fair with readability, where it's like, I want there to be, like, a good enough contrast. Alright, time for a new paper towel. That one's... The crimson's growing on me now. At first I didn't love it when I was just looking at, like, the red and stuff, but the more that I try other colors, the more I think the crimson is working. my very badly mixed crimson. It looks weird on the die because you can see all the other colors through it, but it's actually not that bad. Better than silver, yes. The silver was not great. The silver and the yellow were definitely my least favorites. Which I did not expect how much I was not going to like the yellow. Because everything else was largely darker, I thought maybe the lighter yellow would pop better, but that is definitely not what happened. I'm trying to get any of the not dry ink out while I can from all the other colors, so I can hopefully take the crimson in without too much trouble. Won't be everything, but be good enough. Truly a struggle. The yellow did pop. It just, I didn't love it. I mean, that's the long and short of it. I did not love the yellow. I didn't dislike it as much as the silver, but I didn't love it. This one's going to be a little lopsided because there's still some leftover black in it, but I think it'll be mostly okay. We're not going to get through this whole set tonight. I mostly was like, well, let's do some more, and then we will kind of test out how it looks. Trial and error is probably going to be a lot of me when it comes to inking dice. How do I do this and make it look okay? Puts a color on. Oh no, that color is terrible. Pick something else. Also, I'm just kind of disappointed that, like, the red for this was nowhere near red. Alright, there we go. It's not perfect. But we've got our crimson-esque colors. Is there a way? For me, put some of you back. I really need like a little spoon or something, but I don't actually have anything that would work for that. Because clearly I'm not going to use the bulk of you. You were not the red that I was expecting. You were still pink. Metallics are tough, even when so many just use gold. And that's the thing where it's like part of it too is I don't want to just default to like silver. I don't actually have a gold, so that's nice. So I can't default to it. As tempting as it would be. Hydrate, yes. Tonight I am drinking a ginger beer brewed with fresh lemonade. Or actually, this camera would be better. It is locally crafted, locally being relative here in the Northeast. It's very light, which is what I like about it. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna ink anymore for tonight. Just because this has gotten a little out of hand. Thank you, Mithrin, I appreciate it. Do they list the ingredients anywhere? Maybe? Negative. They do I mean, they just listed it's like non-toxic, water-based, acid-free, and conform to ASTM D4236 and EN 71. So that's a negative. They are meant to actually, now that I'm reading them, they are meant to be color shifting, which explains a lot about the color tones. This is starting to get a little bit darker. It's hard for you all to tell because of the lighting, but the ink is starting to get a little bit darker the further this dries. So, oh, you meant for the beer? I'm like, not in the paint. Ingredients. Water, cane sugar, molasses, fresh organic ginger, lemon juice, and spices is what's listed. It's technically a ginger beer. So you paint a dice it and set the color, but it's been a while and it's dry. You can grab some. Really? That's interesting. I'll have to keep that in mind. I think I'm largely in the try to do the colors in such a way that I can paint over them without too much trouble. I don't know if that will actually work most of the time, but I'm trying. Oh, you have very specific. Well, it's I mean, it's beer, but it's a ginger beer. So I don't know if that says anything. It's gluten-free and made with organic ginger. So yeah, that's all they list. I mean, it's a very low alcohol by volume. It's 4%. So now that I've made a giant mess with all of this, let's throw it all back in. So I guess I'll leave these and we'll see how they dry. The crimson, less so, because that is one of my own paints. So basically from a few other things, a few other projects as mentioned here, let me move this out of the way. We're going to do a little bit of cleanup here. So from, I have those, which was a set of 18. I have a random silver, metallic silver sterling that you can see is pretty faded that I had from some project I did at some point. I have a black that I needed for something that I bought semi-recently. And then I have a small mix of these golden acrylics, which are left over. I've actually checked. I think I only had to trash one that had dried out, but the rest are actually still good, despite the fact that I've had these for probably over a decade, from when I was still regularly doing canvas painting. So I had a few that were just things that like I had on hand, and then the rest were ones that I had bought recently. Color shifting are just lies, only lies. Rubbing alcohol also works. Yes. And that's, I do actually have little, rubbing alcohol I might shift to eventually. For now I have just like alcohol wipes that I can do as a cleanup at some point, but I'm not too concerned about it so far. We'll let these dry and see how they turn out. How you all use for stripping minis, that's good to know. Hops allergy they use for bittering agents. Ooh. Makes sense. I don't even know where the alcohol is in this. Apparently. But yeah, this is made in Vermont. Sorry, responding to the same person. But yes, so now that we have made this complete and utter mess of things, yay us. Actually, let's put this someplace where it's going to do a little less damage if I accidentally knock it over. Look at how much painting we didn't get done tonight, y'all. Well done, us. I'll finish some of the cleanup a little bit later, so we're going to move that up and out of the way. So guess what? We actually are going to crochet some. Because it'll make me feel better about how all that painting went. But yes, so anyways, back to PAX Unplugged. Y'all can see this is the beginning of the... What row are we on? Alright, that was 17. So this is... We did get some painting done. Here's the thing. We got some painting. And this is... So, chatting a little bit, about... that was 17. So when we go to 18... talking about having my planner and everything, new one, part of what I'm going to be figuring out are like, how am I going to make this work? So something I think I'm going to attempt to do, depending on how, how various projects and things go, is that I am going to attempt to rotate. I have done a lot of crafty streams this year, which I'm fine with. It's not a bad thing. But what I would like to do is get a little more balance of like when I'm playing games versus when I'm, or a little bit more balance between games and crafts. Crafts that kind of ended up just by nature of like, I was doing charity fundraisers and what have you, which is not a problem per se, but I'll probably try, my current plan as of right now is that we will, continue the Monday, well, I just botched this stitch, the Monday, Thursday schedule for now. And I'm trying to do a standing treble crochet or treble stitch, and it's always a pain. I just botched that. I could just chain 4, but I refuse. 2, 1, 2. Aha, there we go. So you all can see. So here is the begin. Let me make sense. Here's the beginning of our shawl. We've done 17 rows so far. This is the color that we're going to be doing, which is Watermelon Hellraiser. So eventually we're going to start getting to lighters and end up in a darker. I might do a planner setup stream. I'm not sure yet. I'm probably going to take a look at what I have so far this month and then transition that to and figure out how I want to transition. So my current planner has both December and January of next year, and the new planner has December and moving on to January. But yeah, so a couple of things I want to do. One is, it's not that I don't enjoy my crafty, because definitely like doing craft stuff on stream has helped me complete a lot of projects that I wouldn't have otherwise completed. Or that would have taken me way longer. But I want to get a little bit more, get games more regularly back into my schedule. So I might try to go for like, you know, once a week is a game and once a week is a crafty stream, and then we'll kind of be rotating between sewing. Crochet will probably still largely be off stream, not because I don't want to, but just because I don't really have the best camera for the detail work that comes with crochet on any of my cameras. And oh my god, this is gonna be so much. Alright, well, that's what I thought was gonna happen, but okay. Sorry, this next one has me, it's like double crochet into every stitch until you hit the middle chain 2 space. And I'm like, that's gonna be a lot of double crochets. Which if I go back and I look, okay. Sorry, distracted. So we might do a planner setup stream where I go in and like, it might be a little bit of filling in like the stuff that I know that's on the calendar, which is like going in and putting in birthdays, go ahead and filling in like things that I know I'm going to be doing throughout the year. If I like, you know, go ahead and put in Aresia, go ahead and put in PAX Unplugged, I'm sorry, PAX East, what have you, like a little bit of like filling in the stuff I already know, a little bit of and then maybe starting to do, I kind of need to do my year-end recap for myself, and then we might, you know, maybe it'll be, hey, I'll sit down and, so maybe we will do like a planner setup stream and a little bit of like next year's planning. I usually give myself kind of a string of like things I'd like to accomplish in the year. And some of them are simple, like, hey, I'd like to, you know, write every day for a month, or do a reading challenge, or something like that, like a book challenge. I have some that are specifically around content. So as an example, for this year, I had a goal to do a blog post once a month. Unfortunately, the summer months ended up turning into a whole mess, which you all probably know because I didn't do a lot of streaming during the summer months. And yes, Pirate, we definitely need to find some co-op games to embrace our overlap. pick some silly things to do. Gaming, sewing, crocheting, dice making, and slot for whatever new hobby comes next. We were doing no new hobbies. Actually, that's a lie. I do have stuff for embroidery at some point. Hey, Brian, welcome in. I hope you're doing all right and you have recovered from PAX Unplugged reasonably enough, and fingers crossed did not get con cred. I had managed to somehow bypass. I managed to get through going to the con and coming back. I was exhausted. I was very tired. I needed multiple days to recover, but I did not get sick. You did hear Regia, which is that I need to actually put it on my calendar and stuff to plan for. Side note for Regia, I really like the setup for how they do their kind of panel planning. I think it's a very interesting idea, and I think offers the opportunity for people to potentially end up on panels that they might not know somebody to like invite them to the panel, but have a lot of things that are valuable to add to the panel, and I like that setup. So I don't know who came up with that, Melissa, but tell them props if you know. Been another window doing con work. This is the life of a con co-chair. You are a co-chair, right? I'm having the split second where I vaguely remember you saying that. Other than just general exhaustion, you think you made it out? Yeah, that was I skipped streaming on this past Thursday because I still wasn't like recovered enough to be on, and I couldn't like mentally. I didn't actually like. So I should contextualize this. I came back and I did unpack my suitcase. And kind of all of the things in my suitcase went to the general vicinity of where they needed to be. So like snacks went to the kitchen, clothes went into the hamper, dice went into a pile to get organized and then put where my dice go, and things I purchased and what have you that I need to figure out what I was going to do with basically got put into a pile. And I did not really sort that pile until the weekend. So I would have had to move a lot of stuff to have anything ready to go for a stream on Thursday. And while I could have played video games, I wasn't really I didn't have the energy to be on, and I really kind of wanted my first stream back to be me talking about PAX Unplugged things, and I just didn't think I would have been capable of that if I had been playing a game. It would have taken all of my energy to pay attention to the game. Outside of, I guess I could have put the plastic duck simulator, so maybe that's me for next time to remember. Pull a Urban Bohemian and have ducks in the background while I chat. But yeah. It's always how you've done it. I really like that. So I say this because, and Melissa and chat can probably explain it much better, but it's the idea of like, here's a whole list of topic ideas and like panel things, and not necessarily all of them will get selected, but essentially you can go in and kind of provide like, yes, I'm interested in this, and then kind of rate your level of interest. And then for some of them, it's like, here's the types of questions you'd be asked, or here's the topic of the panel. Like you need to basically write why you should be on this panel. And I think that's a really neat idea for structure, and I hope it's okay that I'm explaining this. I'm so sorry if it's not. I will stop. I don't know how much you all have talked about the panel process before, because I'm not overly familiar with Aresia in general. And yeah, I was right. You are co-chair. Okay. We're just doing a bunch of double crochets, y'all. The problem is the row before this, so I'm putting it a double crochet in every stitch, and the issue is that the row before this has a bunch of chain spaces, which is fine, except for clearly I did not make my chains big enough, and so they're a little bit more difficult to fit the hook through. So I get a little delayed on those stitches. It's a standard practice for volunteer run regional. Oh, good to know. It's a whole different thing when doing professional level cons where all the panelists are industry folks. That's good to know. But like, I like the idea because there were things where it's like, I might not have gone out of my way to say, hey, here's a panel topic, but there were a couple topics where I was like, absolutely, yes, this is something I think am capable and would love to speak to, and I think that there's some cool things, and I liked the way it made me think about like, oh, this panel seems like one that I could really enjoy being on, or that I have something to contribute to, and that's like a really broad thought. So to have to sit down and actually put into writing, here's why I think I should be on this panel, I think was really helpful generally. And like, there's a couple that I initially was like, yeah, I think I'd like to do this one, like I'm interested. And then when I went back and said, okay, what would I say about why I should be on this panel? I went, while it's interesting, I don't think I have a really good case to make for why you should choose me for this. And so I removed my interest, or like basically removed it from my list. But like the other thing is, for some of the topics where it's like, what do you want to, like, how do you prep in advance for discussing that topic? Having to do the here's why I should be is like, oh, this is like one of the things I think would be a really good topic to bring, or really good thing to address if I was on this panel. And so I feel like all of those pieces fit together really well. So I like that setup. Don't actually handle panels since the other chair, but you know the process. Yeah, that's good to know. Yeah, a couple of these chain spaces I made really small. The good part is this is one of my metal crochet hooks from Furls. I'm also very sad because these are the Odysseys, I believe, are being discontinued because their supplier wasn't going to be able to supply anymore. I forget what the reasoning was. I think I have all the sizes that I wanted in this, so I'll just have to hope that none of these ever break. They are gone. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, I vaguely remember them being like, this is our, closeout sale for these because we're not going to have them anymore. Pretzel, once again, taking us on a journey. But yeah, so I had a blast. Props to Brian for moderating, Brian Cortillo in chat for moderating the Freelancing 301 panel. I think for the most part, that one went really well, and we had a wide variety of thoughts from a bunch of different perspectives on it, which I quite enjoyed. I was on the panel, I should have been taking notes the whole time. Like, yes, tell me these things. It was a Freelancing 301 panel, so it was meant to kind of like not be the beginning or intro. I appreciated kind of, for the most part, the mix of questions. We did kind of get the like, how do you get into it? Which we're like, that's not really a 301 question. I do kind of wish that we'd had, I shouldn't say wish that we had, but like, I do feel like the people who kind of hung out and asked additional questions afterwards were all appeared to be a lot of the like, young white dudes where I'm like, I appreciate that you all have questions, but I would also love to see like a wider variety of people, kind of looking to get into freelancing and additional things, or into the industry through some of those avenues. The guy that invented them retired, and they couldn't just move them. Oh, yeah. Okay. I like missed where it was like, I missed the background beyond that. Basically, the supplier they had wouldn't be able to do it anymore for some reason. I've unfortunately kind of been in the like, because I kind of have everything I've needed so far for the bulk of my projects. I haven't been as up on like new releases, besides being like, that's really pretty. I follow that on my Instagram, so I see a lot of the photos. All right, come on, cooperate here. But yeah, the Freelancing 301 went really well. The Into the Motherlands one shot went well. So like PAX Unplugged as a whole was exhausting. Despite bringing a bunch of stuff that I gave to other people and thinking I was going to have a ton of space on my way back, I still somehow managed to end up with enough stuff gifted by other people, and also that I purchased, that like my suitcase was actually fuller coming back than it was going, which I was, how did we get here? I do not believe the freelancer one was recorded. I think that was, I forget which room it was that one was in, that they were like, yeah, this is the room without recordings. I definitely have thoughts about PAX's choices of which panels got to be in, which panels got to be in the rooms that were live streamed versus which weren't, because I definitely feel like a lot of the ones very focused on, you know, being black in games, we were already here, you know, coloniality, that's the word. I was like, what was the title of it? Please hold a second while I count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50, 52, 54, 56, 58, 60, 62, 64, 66, 68, 70, 71. Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. And like, I get why things are scheduled the way they are, that they end up with basically the big games against the little ones, but I just think that there's better schedule. Like, they could have a game start at, say, 5:30 and run till 7:30, and then a half-hour break for setup before, half-hour to hour break, before the, like, big ticket item. Like, Motherlands was against AC Inc. And so it's like, you just, you know, one, they're so far from each other on completely different sides of the con in terms of the rooms. And then two, you're just putting, like, kind of, and they did the same thing last year, like the big juggernaut games against smaller ones. And I think that that's just, you know, you're kind of sabotaging the not big recognizable games in that way. And I just think, I understand that they don't really want to draw people away from the vendor hall, but you're running panels and stuff all day. Like, it's not a big deal to have one of those games start at 5:30 and overlap with the last, like, half hour, 45 minutes of the show, so that you're not putting them back to back. Yeah, it's funny I brought home more stuff. That was not the plan. The plan was to bring less stuff home. Well, I say more stuff. I don't actually know if it was more stuff. It just took up more space, would be the way of putting it, in terms of, like, fitting stuff into. I also think you kind of have the downside, too, where, like, I pack everything very carefully on the way out. And then I'm not quite as careful with packing when it comes to, like, my shoes and my clothes when I'm coming back. Because it's like, I'm going to get back and all of you are going to get thrown into the laundry basket. So I'm sure that there's just a factor of my care in packing as well. Obviously, the things I didn't want to break were taken care of. But yeah, like, that's my one thing with PAX, is that I do feel like they don't really give as much space as they think they could for some of the less popularized topics. Though I'm glad they did give, like, one of the larger rooms that got streamed for Parasocial. That wasn't important. But that should have been the prereq for anybody going to, what was next door? Storytime with Matt Mercer or something. Insert bitter grumbling here about Parasocial being scheduled opposite and right next door. Yeah, it's Storytime with Matt Mercer. Okay. I did not read your message before I asked that question. But, and that's the thing where it's like, you're going to have so many things overlapping anyways. Like, that's just the nature of how the con works. So, aren't you just better off I shouldn't say better off, but I feel like they could, you know, pick your headline stuff and don't overlap them with other things. Run your story time before the show opens, like before the vendor hall opens. Like, okay, vendor hall's opening at 10, story time's at 9. And you're not, it's like having a keynote speaker at a like technical conference. That's the first thing, and it never overlaps with anything else. That's how you open your professional conference, is the keynote speaker. And then you break and you have the multiple talks happening at once. Like, that's my one main thing, is I do feel like you can have all the best intentions in the world, but if you're always going to put your, like, your motherlands against AC Inc., or I think last year it was against, what was it, Dragonlands or something, like, clearly you know which is going to get more attendees. So why not try to stagger the scheduling? Have it be where that not as popular, or not yet as popular game is like the pre-game to the big one. Put it in the same hall so that people who show up early maybe get a chance to be exposed to something else. I did really enjoy the parasocial talk. I did make a mistake. I don't remember who I was standing with chatting afterwards. It might have been Brian Cortijo, where when we talk once again about getting your words wrong, I was trying to reference specifically when Kelly, the opera Greek, had said that when you're next to a whole bunch of people and you always feel less than. And I was like, oh, that's a mood. And I think I had texted Cypher and I was like, Kelly just attacked everyone. And so after the parasocial panel, I was like, I felt attacked. I said something to the effect to somebody of like, oh, I felt attacked during that. And they're like, ooh, that sounds like a you problem. And I had a moment of being like, oh, I didn't mean about the parasocial aspects. Those I feel reasonably good about most of the time. It was specifically about Kelly saying, talking about feeling less than a bunch of the people you're sitting or standing next to. And I was like, oh, but whoever it is I was just talking to thinks I meant about like specifically the actual parasocial elements. I'm like, I don't even remember half the time to tout all the ways in which people could support me because I forget or it's not important. I'm very conscious of not being overly familiar with people as much as I can, or being conscious of the fact that just because I sit in their chat all the time doesn't mean we're necessarily friends. We might be internet acquaintances, depending on who it is, but yeah, I was like, this is another time where I did not word well, and somebody took it as me being like, I'm really bad at parasocial relationships. Yeah, we couldn't use the escalator. Well, Leaf couldn't use the escalator, but gave me directions on where to go so I could get in faster, because I was bringing emergency water to people. I have actually done event planning, Melissa, in some of my past jobs. Not specifically for like a PAX or something, but I have done independent events, and I have also 2 separate years had to plan my then company's presence at E3. So while I am not specifically a con planner, I do understand a lot about event planning and scheduling and things of that nature from work I've done in my past jobs. In my past lives. So yeah, it's one of the things when I talk, it's actually really funny to me because anytime I talk to somebody, I'm like, I've actually worked over the course of the past 15 years the gamut of marketing, communications, public relations, events, social media, community management, influencer management, brand management, strategic planning. And while not all of those were necessarily directly my title, I have had roles that covered a long range of those things, and or has covered like multiple disciplines. And so like when you look back, I'm like, I actually have in some way, shape, or form done a whole lot of stuff that some people make just one of those their entire career. And I'm like, yeah, I've done a lot of these. I would say all with enough to say that enough to be dangerous, if not, but not an expert in necessarily all of them. Um, enough to be somebody else's problem might be how I would phrase it. Which is why I have opinions about like events that I go to where I was like, this is not well planned, or this was not well structured, or you didn't necessarily pick the best venue. Because I've done that stuff. Some of it I intentionally avoid because I don't want to do it these days, but literally everyone panned it. Yep, all of us being attacked in one go. That was an AoE attacked by Kelly during the parasocial panel. Words are hard. Yeah, now you know. It's one of those funny things because I don't necessarily talk about work directly a lot. And like most of everybody has perspective from me over the past, I don't know, 2-3 years-ish. So a lot of this stuff was stuff that I've been doing, like I said, over the past 15 years. So not everything is something that I've done necessarily even in the past 5 years, but that I have done once upon a time. What the heck did I do to this stitch? Alright, we're going to finish this row, and then I think we're going to call it a night, because I am now, randomly, I've just hit my wall, and I'm tired. So we are going to do this last treble crochet. We will have finished one row. So good on us. We will put all of our appropriate markers. 17. We've now put on uh-oh. Oh no, it's just the way the stitches are there. Well, I hope I had the right thing marked. No, I did. Okay, that's fine. Sometimes keeping track of what row I'm on is a little bit of a challenge once we get further along. All my experience is volunteer, and all I can say is I do not like the code now. Yeah, it's certainly, like, it's one, I don't talk about it a lot. When I was still podcasting, one of the things that I got hired to do, this would have been 2013, is I actually got hired by the agency, the PR agency for Microsoft to MC the Xbox One launch party. So when Microsoft did launch the Xbox One, they picked 6 Microsoft stores around the US that they actually hosted like midnight event launch parties. They ran Killer Instinct tournaments, did a bunch of giveaways, blah, blah, blah. And at midnight you could, obviously the people who attended, what have you, could pick up the Xbox One that they had pre-ordered. And yeah, I got hired to MC the event at the Orlando location. They had somebody who was specifically managing the Killer Instinct tournament there, and I got to basically frolic around a mall in Orlando and give away a bunch of stuff like gift cards and things, and our ultimate winner got an Xbox One with like a couple $100 worth of accessories, which was extra games and things and all of that. Let's see, insert the gif of Urban. That is such a great gif too, like perfectly reacting it. Like you posted that and I was like, I know exactly what moment in the parasocial panel that was. You're confirmed. Ooh, boozy hot cocoa brunch. You'll have to let me know how you like it. I think I have tea plans on Friday, and then I'm just gonna like ignore the world on Saturday. All right, so let me switch us over. We're gonna finish up here real quick. So first off, thank you all for hanging out with me while I talked very badly and very inconsistently and very discoherently about PAX Unplugged. Watching as I tried and failed a little bit to sand and then ink dice. I probably need to figure that out off stream before I try to do it on stream. But it's fine. These are, y'all get to trial and error with me in real time. Whatever this song is, I hate it. And then a little bit of crochet. So I do feel crochet has kind of become my thing for when I want to relax from other stuff. So probably you'll still continue to see sewing and the slow introduction of dice related things into content into the stream as we move forward. And then I'm also going to be trying to fit in more gaming. One of the things a couple of things I'm looking to get accomplished by end of year. Before the end of the year, I'm finishing Zelda. So we might do a couple Zelda streams. This week and next week, currently anticipate that I will still be doing Monday, Thursday. I might throw in some additional days, depending on what my schedule's like, because I need to get some sewing things done. And then I'm probably going to be playing a lot of Zelda, because I'm so close. I just have one more temple to go, and then I'm assuming we'll get to go to the castle and fight Ganon, I think. I'm assuming. So that is those are things you can kind of expect in the short term. I'm going to definitely be thinking through what I want to be doing as we think about the new year and stuff. And to Leaf's point, I want to figure out, I need to kind of wrap up my thoughts for the year in my current planner and then start kind of laying out what I'm hoping to do for next year. So definitely there will probably be a planner stream at some point. But when exactly I will do it, who knows? And what exactly would be the focus of that is also a little bit TBD, besides like making sure I'm getting in what I can. So I'm definitely like Zelda, I just need to sit down and actually make time for it. So I'll probably start doing that this week, to be honest. There's nothing else that's too urgent besides that I need to finish a quote for Pirate before Arisha. And I need to finish some other things that I'll be working on the side. So all of that said and done, I will end it here. Switch over to stream is ending. Real quick, thanks again to Leaf and Cypher for resubs, to Blackjack for subbing with Prime. Pirate, thanks again for coming on in and raiding on over with your peoples. Trying to figure out who is... I think we were gonna go right over to Kawaii Guy, who is playing Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. I actually don't know which one they are playing. Let me mute. Alright, so, real quick, we are gonna raid over to Kawaii Guy. Raid call is... Lucky Raid with a Susie or any hi or hello emote. Thank you so much, you all, for hanging out with me. I do appreciate you making the time. Kawaii Guys, just so we're all on the same page, Kawaii Guys, pronouns are they, them, so please be respectful. And as always, everyone, please be safe, be healthy, happy crafting, happy gaming, and I will see you around the interwebs.
What's up? Springleaf, welcome in, friends. How you doing? How you doing? We're doing a little bit of grinding right now because the gym leader we just fought was wrecking us. Welcome in, Raiders. So good to see you. If this is your first time here, I am Kawaii Guy. Welcome. This is our lovely Kawaii Crew. Welcome in, everybody, with those sweet emotes that y'all have a hold of. We have a bunch of new Pokemon